Hello, everyone, and welcome into VoiceOver Voices.biz with your host, Earl Hall. I'm here with Glen, a voiceover artist, and he's got a great story, I'm sure. We're going to talk about his journey in voiceover, and also, obviously, what you really want to hear about is the gear and why he chose it. Glen, thanks so much for being here with me today on VoiceOver Voices.
Yeah, really enjoying it so far. So really
Well,
glad to be here.
look, everybody's already caught the accent. So tell us where you're from, my friend.
I'm from a place in the UK, in the middle of the UK, called Wolverhampton,
Okay.
and it's sort of like 15 miles from
Okay.
Birmingham, England. But I live in Codsall now with my girlfriend. It's not too far away from there, but it's sort of like a West Midlands accent. And they call it a black country accent, to be honest, because
Oh, my
in
goodness.
the Industrial Revolution, a lot of miners came up from the mines with black faces, so they called it the Black Country.
Yeah.
And so there's a Black Country museum not far from here, and actually, a friend of mine from Washington moved here. She loves it here, and she went to the Black Country Museum, but she thought it was about Black history of black,
Oh,
you know, and she loved it. She
yeah.
absolutely loved it when we went, and she loves the fish and chips and all that. So
Oh, I
yeah,
love fish and
yeah,
chips myself too.
yeah.
Well, look, Glenn, let's kind of get into it here. What kind of got you on your journey in voiceover, and how long ago did this journey begin?
Say about 8 years ago. At the time, I was in a tribute band. So I was in a tribute band, and we'd sing "Take That," which were a band which kind of like were influenced by New Kids on the Block in the
Oh,
UK. They're quite popular, and we
yeah.
was doing gigs. And I just said in passing that I wanted to do voiceover, and they just laughed at me because of my accent, and they said that I was no good. And about just after I'd finished that band, I went into a jobs fair. I was in between
Hmm.
acting jobs,
Okay.
and went to this jobs fair. I met these two guys who ran this radio station called Kick FM. It was a
Okay.
youth radio station, and what they do is they run a employment course where at the end of the job course, you actually start a radio show. You produce a radio show yourselves.
Okay.
So that introduced me to Audacity for the first time, and they had some
Uh,
ancient gear at the time. And out of the five of us on the course, I was the only one doing the voiceovers. So I
okay.
decided to write a script for this course and just say, anyone looking to get into work, you've lost your confidence, you know, you're not, you're on the dole, because I call it the dole here, the social security, when
Okay.
people don't work. But yeah, and at the end of the course was a radio show we produced. And so I did the voiceovers for a couple of things, and I did a couple of announcements. They weren't brilliant.
Okay.
So after that, I sort of like built buying gear year after year. I was doing it, but in between, sort of like my acting jobs, because I've been working as an actor for 18 years now. So I
Wow.
did
Wow.
main acting jobs, but I've done a few films where I've had voiceover jobs in the films itself. And
Hmm.
I've got a couple of things on Amazon Prime at the moment, and there's one
Oh,
which is
wow.
so a couple of things like where my voice is, but one was actually sounded like more like an American accent, but I lower pitched it, and it sounded more American. When I actually ended up, he ended up being happy with it in the end.
You can probably do a better American accent than I can do, like European or British or whatever accent.
Uh, it's like it's so strange because it's like it's sort of like a sought after accent, I suppose, in America, but
Mhm.
all the Americans think everyone talks like posh and Mary Poppins and all that, but it's
Ah.
so different. But there's so many different voice actors over here that are really big in the
Hmm.
north. I mean, the guy I went to a course with Gary Tazier. He does a lot of things like you. He puts on videos and he teaches people how to do voiceovers and gear and stuff. And I
Mm.
did his course for a year, and he was really good. He was a 30-year veteran of Central Television. That's how he
Okay.
got. Somebody mentored him, so he's mentors other people now. So he kind of like helped me a lot with. He gave me confidence. He says my Midlands accent. There's nothing wrong with it. You
No.
can do voiceovers, and a lot of people put me down a little bit in the first place and laughed. But
A lot of people with, I get a lot of questions from people with accents that they think, they can't get voiceover work because they have a thick accent or something like that, or they can't, do an American accent. And I just say, you work with what you have and you can be successful, which
yeah,
you've proven that already.
yeah, 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 yeah.
If we crack into like, people really are interested in like gear and stuff like that. What
Yeah, yeah.
microphone are you using, and why did you select that particular mic to do voiceover with?
Well, originally I bought a T-Bone mic, which is a really good mic. It's an XLR mic,
Mhm.
and that was my main mic originally. But this one is a CM25 Focusrite, which I bought with a studio bundle. But it's
Oh
brilliant for
wow.
this space because this building was built in the 1950s, so the sound is actually good. And I bought a sound meter, and according to the sound meter, it's about 32 decibels. And I know
Oh.
recording studios are supposed to be between 20 and 30, so it's just slightly over. And the
Mhm.
shed studio, which as you can see in the background, the other studio is in a garden shed
Yeah.
with 5 layers of soundproofing. And
Oh
this
my.
this is the actual T-bone mic. You can see if I can just point to it. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, see, that's a really good mic. That was £90 from Germany, and
Oh,
but
okay.
this one is really good because it doesn't actually take much sound in, so it's actually quite good for voiceover in this room. The only
And that's a
soundproof,
condenser mic that's there in front of you? That's a
yeah, yeah,
condenser mic
yeah,
in front
yeah,
of you?
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I'm not using a Focusrite in here. I'm using an Avid Solo interface, so I'm using the Focusrite in the other studio. With
Okay.
so I've swapped it. I've swapped my Focusrite to the main studio, and used the Avid Solo here, which is a really good
Okay.
interface. I think it was about £56 when I bought it with Pro Tools Express. Then I upgraded to Pro Tools 12, and that was really helpful. Pro Tools.
Wow. So
Um,
that's obviously your DAW of choice. Any
yeah.
other interfaces in between like your Focusrite? Do you use any other audio processing, or is it the Focusrite right into your Pro Tools?
No, no. On in the main studio, I use a PreSonus Studio channel, a DBX 186X I think it's called, and then I've used I think
Is
an
it a
FX.
186 or a 286? Is it a DBX 186 or 286?
It's a 186. I made a mistake. I bought
Wow.
the wrong one. But at the
Okay.
time, I'm using 2 units instead of one, basically. But the other one
Okay.
is an FX 2000 from Behringer, which is a really good. It does all sorts of effects, and I use that for the singing mainly because I'm a singer as well.
Okay.
Um, so when I want to sing karaoke in there or want to sing a song, practice a song, I miss going out performing really, but doing it at home has been brilliant. I did some recording today actually here with this mic, and
Yeah.
I can't believe how good it was singing wise.
Wow. The now obviously using Pro Tools, was Pro Tools a choice because of the singing or because of the voiceover, or how did you select Pro Tools as your DAW?
Um, it just actually came with Pro Tools Express, the Avid Solo interface, so
Oh wow.
upgraded to that. But I found a really good template on YouTube, which I'm using, and it's worked for me ever since, really. Um,
Hmm.
so I know you say Adobe Audition is your best door, and I'm looking into it.
For
I
me.
am looking into it. Once I get, I mean, I was shortlisted the other day on Voice Realm, so
Oh wow. Okay.
I changed some settings because I was recording too quiet, and I realized.
Mm.
Now I've changed the settings. I've got shortlisted the other day for a voiceover, and I'm quite pleased. I
Yes.
mean, about 3 months ago, I got on Bunny Studio as well. Got accepted on there after
Hmm.
4 rejections in the past.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I
So,
remember back. Yeah, I was rejected a few times before. Yeah.
so
Voice
it's so
planning.
hard. It's so hard. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think changing the settings has helped. So I'll record between -12, -6, and it does
Hmm.
work better. And I was recording so quiet before.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I mean, one of the final questions I ask everyone is like, if there was something you could ask me about voiceover, what would that be?
Well, that the main well, you've already answered it really.
Oh,
Can my accent, can a
uh-huh.
regional accent be good enough for voiceover? And you've already said it doesn't matter about your accent really. It's about the performance. I mean, I'll get disappointed if I don't get a job, but
All of us.
that's
Yeah.
mainly because acting, you do the same. You go for an acting job, you send a self tape, you never get no feedback at all. They don't tell you what's
Isn't
don't
that
tell
the
you
worst
anything.
though? I mean,
It is,
you've
but
got to have a real tough skin to be in the acting biz, voice acting, whatever. You've got to have a real tough skin because it's mostly rejection, right?
well, I started at 6 years old, so
Mm,
I'm used to it, and I'm 42 now, coming up to 43 soon.
okay.
So I'm not, I am. I mean, the last 2 years before the last year, because I've been a call agent for a year while COVID's been going on. So I've been
Hmm.
calling people who've tested positive for COVID-19,
Okay.
mostly who've got the Indian variant at the moment, because we are in a situation
Oh
here
yeah.
really bad at the moment. So I'm calling people. I'm making about 70 calls a day, and that's really made me confident now. Talking on the phone to,
Hmm.
it's really made me determined to get better at voiceover. Really, because I can talk to people now.
Right.
I'm using a headset mic, and I'm reading a script, and I'm reading it naturally. I'm reading it in my own accent. I'm not really putting a posh voice on. I'm actually talking as myself, and it's made me
Hmm.
realize now that I can naturally talk to
And
people
that's
and
the
they
way to go.
understand me. So yeah,
That is definitely the way to go. Excuse me. I've said so many times that, especially us as voice actors, when we first start, we try and emulate someone else, and you can't do that. It's like no one can beat you being you,
no,
right?
exactly, yeah, yeah,
No one can beat you being you. And when you go all in on that, that's when you actually win, because that's what people are going to be attracted to you when you're trying to sound like this VO or that VO or do a certain style, as opposed to it's outside of your own. You're not authentic. And I think people can tell that,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
best
definitely,
just to go all in on who exactly it is that you are. Would you agree?
yeah, yeah. Because I think originally I think that I wanted to be determined that a man from Wolverhampton with a Wolverhampton accent can actually get somewhere in voiceover, and there has been Wolverhampton actors out there and really good ones. It really annoys me that, and I shouldn't say this, Peaky Blinders on our shores. None of the actors are from the Birmingham accent. They haven't got the Birmingham accent at all. But
Oh, wow.
they so it's weird how, I mean, I don't think there's many American actors who can take off the British accent really, really well, but
Yeah.
there are some, and they do it right. It's so funny. I mean, Robert Duvall's probably the best because he did a Scottish
Okay.
accent in his film, but there's so many voice actors that I watch. I mean, I watch your videos. I watch Bill DeWeese,
Yeah.
Anthony Pica,
Love them. Yeah.
so many good actors, and Don LaFontaine is probably the ultimate,
Oh,
isn't he? I think.
yeah.
I mean, he was probably the greatest. I mean, I like that stand-up comedian who takes him off, Pablo Francisco, is it?
Okay.
Oh, he's really funny. Watch him. He does the trailer man in his stand-up routine. It's so funny. But there's so many things. But the Americans have the edge on the voiceover industry. I mean, there's not many people over here that know how to go about getting started. Really, editing is something that I found a struggle at the first to find out
Okay.
some information on how to edit because nobody tells you. It's a very guarded secret. And I found a way now myself working things out. I went back to college last year and did a sound engineering course.
Oh, wow.
So because I
Perfect.
wanted to be good at that really. And yeah. So I wanted to be good at sound engineering as well as voiceover. So I know what I'm doing working out wise. You must be tired. I mean, how many interviews you've done so far today?
This is the fifth. I've got one more to do this afternoon,
It's crazy.
but I
I'm
love it.
going.
This has been so interesting to me. And I mean, I'm so grateful for you and all the others that are coming on, because I think these conversations are important to have.
Definitely, yeah.
So many people, so many of us have the same types of struggles, but there's no way or nowhere to go to kind of hear, well, what is everyone else going through?
Yeah, yeah,
We hear
yeah.
from all the big guys and gals, but what about the people that are just starting, that are really getting into this thing? Because if you've got a struggle, it means a million other people have the same one.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
taken me
us
4 years or something. I think it's taken me 4 years to get even finding my voice because
yeah,
listening to my voice, I'm actually enjoying listening to it when I'm doing the voice acting now.
right.
But I've kept all my recordings and I listen back to my old recordings and how bad I was because I used to hold my breath
Yeah.
and I sound
Yeah.
the background sounds, the background noises, the pops, the clicks. And what's helped me is I upgraded the other day to RX standard.
Mm,
And so mouth declick has really helped
yes.
me leaps and bounds. So that
And that's
that
from
plugin
RX,
has
right?
really helped you. Yeah, that's definitely it's a bit. I mean, I've got Waves plugins. I've got all these great plugins, and they've all helped really. But
Mhm.
it's down to your performance, and I've realized
Absolutely.
that now that it's down to performance. At the end of the day, it's not about they can aid you, but it's down to the performance and how you come across emotionally to each
Mhm.
script. And when you read a script and it tells you, oh, energetic and be more natural rather than not forced, that's you've got to read the directions. I mean, you've got to read the directions before you
You got
actually
to.
audition. So definitely.
All right.
I be,
Well, Glenn, I want to thank you, man, so much for taking the time out. I know you're in a different time zone, obviously, than I am.
well, it's 6
It,
p.m. here, so I'm all right. I've got a
it's
lazy
good.
spar outside, and I'm going in 5 minutes time. It's a lovely lazy spar, so I'm going in that in a bit. So definitely.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here with us today on Voiceover Voices. We're wishing you the best and you have a good rest of your day. Okay, my friend.
So okay, no worries. Thank you so much.
Bye now.
Bye bye now. Bye bye.